Today we're at Florida International University talking to students about their opinions of socialism and if they'd support a socialist GPA policy. Would they be willing to share their high GPA with people that have a low GPA? Because after all, it's all about equality. Which would you rather have in America, socialism or capitalism?
I would say socialism.
How do you view the word socialism, favorably or unfavorably?
I guess I would go with favorably.
Like, I have family in Europe. They go to college for free. Their healthcare is paid for. They don't have to worry about it at all.
I favor that over capitalism.
Okay, got it.
I also think I favor that, like, socialism over capitalism.
Socialism is more geared toward, like, helping the people in your, the governed.
I'd rather people have that same opportunity. There's a lot of excess in America.
Which would you prefer in America, socialism or capitalism?
Probably socialism.
Socialism.
Be a mix of both. I think the people at the top need to pay their fair share, but I also think that if you want to start a company and become a billionaire, there shouldn't be any regulations in the government to stop you from doing that.
In a capitalist system, we build a culture of competition that prevents a lot of people from having access to quality of life.
People at the top helping people at the bottom bring us to like a greater level of equality.
Like our system takes away from others being able to help others, because when we share in a capitalist society, we often do so at our detriment. In a socialist society, we are a system that inherently values supporting one another.
The main idea of socialism being that people at the top are doing their fair share to help people at the bottom, trying to prevent disparity of income and trying to prevent excess, as you called it. So on campus, if there's a GPA disparity where there's people at the bottom with a poor GPA, would you support a policy where people at the top spread the wealth and give that GPA to people at the bottom?
Help them get a better GPA?
Yeah.
I'm all for helping. I wouldn't give let me just give you some of my points.
But it's about being fair, right? We got to help people at the bottom.
I've lost a lot of sleep, so I don't know if I will be fair.
It's hard. I guess it would be kind of like hypocritical for me to say no.
That's completely different.
How is it different?
Because I'm studying all day for my grade.
So on campus, if there's some students, at the bottom GPA-wise, would you give them some of your own GPA points to make it more equal?
No.
I guess not.
If I give them some of my GPA points, I then remove some of my own opportunity.
Obviously, he's not putting in the effort based on your hypothetical, but that doesn't equate to understanding social welfare programs.
What's the difference between working hard and earning a high GPA and not wanting to give it away, and then working hard and earning a high income and not wanting to give it away?
I feel like the highest bracket of income earners in America are not at all the people that work the hardest. Oftentimes the poorest members of our society are the ones that work the hardest because they're the ones that are working 40-hour weeks in intense manual labor jobs, whereas the richest members of society are the ones that are have the capital to invest in stocks and aren't really contributing to our society but are making the most.
What do you mean by sharing it? Literally, giving them a chunk of my GPA?
Yep.
Dang.
Watching how mainstream media has gotten into young people's minds is honestly terrifying, ladies and gentlemen. It's honestly terrifying because you see kids walking around repeating headlines like they are facts. Can you imagine? And it's not because they are thinking for themselves, no, but it's because that's what they have been fed to believe all their entire lives. Yeah, it's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy because this kid only represents a lot of others out there. A lot of others out there. And a lot of them, they just take in whatever is fed them. They don't even analyze it, stop and question it, question whatever they're being taught. They don't do that. You see, they may be living off the diet of misinformation. A lot of people, their diet is misinformation. They don't examine it.
Here with more on his interviews at Florida International University is Campus Reform's Cabot Phillips. Cabot, I love this series. Love it because so many college students like these ideas. Oh, it sounds great, but when it's practically applied to their own lives and they have to visualize what that would actually mean, suddenly not so great.
I think a lot of people realize it's very compassionate The idea of everyone else paying for your free college, your free health care. Not so compassionate when you're the one that's having to give up things that you've worked so hard for in the name of equality. I've been on over 100 college campuses with Leadership Institute's campus reform, and the left has really weaponized this concept of equality. But rather than equality of opportunity, which we should all want, we should all support, they want equality of outcome. And there's nothing compassionate about that when you flip it around and help these students realize that redistributing the wealth sounds good until it actually applies to you. Hopefully we had some light bulb moments there.
I think you may have, Cabot. You went on to ask them the difference between salaries and GPAs. What did you hear?
It was very interesting. There's this idea that if anyone's successful, anyone who's wealthy, they must have gotten that way by pushing everyone else down. Listen to how they describe the difference between someone earning an income but earning a GPA is a little different. Listen to them.
Well, I feel like the difference is that you study for your grades, right? And grades often reflect how much time you spend studying. But
you gotta work pretty hard to become a millionaire.
There's some people who are in the bottom, but they really are working, and there's some people who are in the bottom and they deserve that poor GPA.
Kind of like people making money with their income?
Exactly.
This is the problem, right, Cabot? It's not the real world college. They haven't gone out, gotten that job, seen how taxes are taken out, and suddenly all their hard-earned cash vanishes, so they don't get it quite yet.
They absolutely don't, and in a way it's hard to blame them. When you're only hearing one ideology, when you're only hearing the same tired leftist, in this case socialist policies on campus, of course you're not going to think critically. And this underscores how important it is for us to teach history, teach the economic context of what socialism has actually done. The two most vehement students against socialism both said, my family actually came here from Cuba. I've seen it up close and personal. I've seen it firsthand. You can see them at the end of the video on campus reform. And many of those students don't have the historical context. This underscores just how important it is for us to teach socialism throughout history has brought death and destruction. Capitalism and free markets are the only thing that have freed people from poverty throughout time.
And guess what? The world isn't fair. You can work hard and earn a GPA and earn yourself, but you also work really hard and not have a high GPA if it doesn't cut your way. Like it's life. Wow.
Absolutely. Do you think there's a similarity between earning your salary and maybe not wanting to give it away to people that aren't working to earn it? And same thing with the GPA, where you earn it and you say, well, I don't necessarily want to give it to anyone who might not be working for it.
Right. I think it's just that whole sense of thinking that no one's going to work for it.
I mean, I sacrifice a lot to get my GPA. You know, I don't go out as much as I'd like to, but that's for like a greater goal in the future, the way I see it. So, no, I wouldn't sacrifice my own things, like sacrifice my own time to help somebody else who didn't want to make those same sacrifices.
There's some people who are in the bottom, but they really are working, and there's some people who are in the bottom and they deserve that poor GPA.
Kind of like people making money with their income?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like some people. Let's not throw shade.
But isn't it about helping the less fortunate?
Basically profiting off of my work for you. So who's really the bad guy here?
I don't think that'd be a good idea, because then you're taking away from people that earn that grade. And what about the ones that aren't really working hard for their grades? So they're just going to get something they don't really deserve.
Got it. And do you think it's similar with your salary?
Yeah, I definitely do.
No, that's the complete opposite of meritocracy. It's the complete opposite. That's like awful.
I don't think they're comparable, because your GPA is not directly linked to like your quality of life necessarily.
But you still have to earn it the same way you'd have to earn a salary, right?
Well, I don't think most rich people in this country necessarily earn it. Much of that money is inherited. Much of that money, you know, is made from the stock market, which isn't, they're not actually working for that. They're pressing a button behind a computer for that. I mean...
Well, I mean, then there would be no point to having a GPA, because then if everyone has the same, then there's no metric, right?
But it's all about fairness, right?
Well, like, is it fair? Like, I look at it this way, right? Is it fair for everyone to have the same outcome or to have the same opportunity, right? For me, having the same opportunity is what is fair, right? Not the same outcome, right? Because if I work harder than you and I get a better result, then it is only fair that I get a better grade or I get a better opportunity than you, right?
The thing is, some of these students, they're not necessarily bad people. No. But they are victims of misinformation. They are misled and totally convinced that they are right. That's the terrible part. That's the terrible part. You see? And yet there will be people who will still defend that position. They will defend that position. Yeah. Literally begging governments, institutions of power to take away their right because they think trading freedom for safety makes them good citizens. In other words, they want to follow the trends. If you get to follow the trend and you associate with the trend, you become cool, Sami-sama. You become cool by association. It's terrible. Is it? That's terrible, ladies and gentlemen. Because the USA was built on sacrifice, not submission. In other words, freedom isn't free. Like so many, they actually think that the Biden administration was the hero, that censorship was protection. You see? And that feelings are more important than facts. See? And they don't realize that they're defending the very same institutions that lie, that manipulate, divide the country. And divide the country. Because when you ask them, where did you get that information? They will say, online. I got it online. Can you imagine? They don't question. They don't sit down. Question, is this biased? Has this been edited? Is this agenda driven? They don't do that. They don't do that. And it's really sad. It's really sad because a lot of these young people, they don't have a clue that they're defending the wrong stuff. They have no idea what real freedom, responsibility, or even sacrifice means. They don't have an idea. They would defend censorship, justify government overreach, and yet they will even think, a lot of them, they think that President Trump is the problem. They think President Trump is the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, social media censors, the MSNBC networks, all those stuff, brainwashes, college indoctrinates. See? And now we are raising a generation that doesn't even realize that they are being controlled. They don't even realize it. And they like to call President Trump a liar. You see? While believing every scripted thing they hear on the television, on TV. See? And they like to use that word, fascism, fascism. And I hope these people, these kids, especially this one, I hope that he thinks for long, thinks hard about this moment, that the seed was sown in his life. Hope he works up, because America needs young people who are willing to listen. You see, not just repeat whatever they see on TV. No, I really hope that. I really hope so. Yeah. The pendulum is swinging and people are beginning to wake up. Yeah. And that's why conversations like these matters, ladies and gentlemen. These kind of conversations, they matter. Yes, we disagree, but can we at least sit down and have a conversation? See? Yeah. And if you agree, don't forget to also watch the next one and to subscribe and to leave your comment.